Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Got a very interesting story this morning that I want to bring to you. And Andrea, first one up. How are you this morning? Mike from Norland, Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, Brahim, Portland, Oregon, Nativity, and Rosa, and Jose, good morning. Wendy, good morning. How are you? Elaine, good morning to you. Kevin, I see you were shoveling yesterday, Kevin. Wendy from Markham, good morning. Nick from our staff. Jean, good morning. Jordan, how are you? And Lori, Niagara Falls. Marin, nice to have you on. Marnie. And Ken, San Antonio, Texas. Good morning, Ken. Mary Jane from Connecticut. Joss, Sturgeon Falls. Kathy. Two Kathys, one with a C and one with a K from Ottawa. Sandra and Jerry from Quebec. Laura and Madeleine from Quebec. Yolande, good morning. Deb and Donna. And Len and Judy from Edmonton. Good morning, Edmonton. Helen, Adeline, nice to have you on. Amanda, good morning to you. And Judy. And Inga, good morning. And Jeanette. Okay, you guys get ready to go? Okay, Danny, good morning to you. Now, here's the headline. What does Mexico know that we don't know? What does Mexico know that we don't know? That's the headline this morning. Now, here's the story behind that headline. Mexico seizes 380,000 boxes of Kellogg's cereals. Why? They feature cartoons that break the laws in Mexico, designed to lure children to eat cereal. What does Mexico know that we don't know? Isn't that incredible? Almost 400,000 boxes of Kellogg's cereals. Now, remember Kellogg's, okay? Everybody knows Kellogg's, but most people don't know the story of Kellogg's, which was Dr. Kellogg's, who was a medical doctor, who invented really cereal. He did. And he was a vegan who didn't believe in animal products whatsoever. He thought spiritually, seriously. You have to read about it because part of my study for the history of nutrition in my postgraduate work, we put a lot of emphasis in studying Dr. Kellogg's. And, the guy wasn't stupid, but he really had an agenda. And a lot of it was religious. And anyways, here he is. Here is his company, 100 years later, more than that Mexico seizes almost 400,000 boxes of it because they're advertising to children. Now, Mexico, guys, has got a big problem. They have a huge problem with what I call diabesity. okay? What's diabetes? It is pre-diabetes. They're on the road to destruction in Mexico. And they're already really effectively a diabetic, even though, and you guys know this better than any other group, and I mean this, because you know what we emphasize here. Don't wait for your blood sugar to go south. Don't wait for that. The last thing to happen will be your blood sugar going south. Why? Because your body will do everything it can. Your body knows more about sugar than the rest of the world does. Your body is so smart. It knows that sugar is so toxic that it will do everything it can to keep sugar in your bloodstream into a very, very, very tight and narrow range. That's how smart your body is. And Mexico is smarter than we are, because they don't want any advertising on cereal boxes going to children. Now, I know it's never going to happen, but I would tell them, never release those 400,000 boxes. Don't allow cereal. If I had my way, there'd be no cereal. You wouldn't even be able to get it. And I'm all for freedom of choice, okay? But kids, they're being advertised to. I remember Kellogg's and Frosted Flakes and all the rest of them coming after my children in the 1970s. Coming after my children in the 1970s. Sugar's, they don't say sugar's good for you, but they would say cereal is good for you. Cereal is going to be sugar in a nanosecond. Never mind that they add sugar to it. Read the box, read the labels. Incredible. Because you got to understand, the food industry, the world went hook, line, and sinker. That animal fat, bacon and eggs in the morning, no good for you. Don't have that. It gives you cholesterol, and cholesterol is at the root of heart disease, and cholesterol makes you fat, and cholesterol is no good for you. You got to eat our cereals. And I never seen a scam like the cereal scam. It was unreal. And they started with that, okay? So it was the elimination of cholesterol. That's one. But the second one, and we've talked about this many a time, is the introduction of fiber. Man, if you don't have fiber, you're gonna die. And our cereal is full of fiber, and thus shredded wheat, and thus all bran, and the fiber-loaded cereals. What does Mexico know that we don't know? Interesting, right? It's going after kids, and we have Houston. We got a problem. We got a major problem in North America. And I'm telling you, all the money in the universe, all the money in the universe is not going to fix this problem if we don't get the memo. If we don't get the memo on sugar. I've said this to many people over the years. if you do nothing else, get rid of sugar in your diet. I'm not even talking about fruit, not even mentioning that. But if you do nothing else, guys, I started like that in high school. I've told you many times about the story of my dad and becoming a diabetic. And I watched him change his life. And, he had a major impression on me. I remember taking nutrition courses and thinking, these guys are crazy. Because my dad, like diabetes, well, you got to have a balanced diet and you need some sugar and, you better eat carbs because your blood sugar is going to go down. It'll go up and down and you're a diabetic and you need carbohydrates. And my dad said, that's crazy. And I watched my dad. And I can tell you guys, this one of the things that I used for weight loss 40 years ago. Well, 40, wait a minute. More than 50, okay? No, but I remember one day, just in my own mind, saying, no more sugar. I never, guys, I mean it. I went cold turkey, and I never had another soda. I never had another pop, as we call it in Canada. I drink Pepsi, I would drink Coke, I would drink the odd ginger ale, and I would drink, I stopped. When I was in high school, I stopped eating chocolate bar. I used to love, Nick asked me from our staff, what chocolate bar did you used to like? Oh, Henry. It was the king of chocolate bars. I used to love those things. I just stopped. You know what another thing I did? And I mean, you know me and I love coffee, right? Have you ever heard that before on this program? I love coffee. You know what I stopped doing? Is putting sugar in it. In high school. You know what happened? I lost 40 pounds. And, I'm careful all the time. I have to be. I'm careful. But it took discipline. It wasn't easy. But I'm glad I did it. And, now it's easier because if you put sugar in it, I don't even, you couldn't give me a soda if I was on an island dying of thirst with no water. I don't think I'd drink it. Well, maybe I would. But you know what I'm saying? I don't like it. Patients would, bring me a peace offering. They bring me coffee at the office, right? And they knew I love coffee, so they bring me a coffee. And a lot of times, and they meant well, they put sugar in it. And I go, I ain't drinking this. Sorry. It's got sugar in it. I can't stand it. And for me, of course, it gets easier, right? But I'm telling you, it's a huge problem if you do nothing else. If you can convince your children or your grandchildren, cut out the sugar. People tell me, oh yeah, I know, doc, sugar's no good for me. And they got candies in their purse. I know diabetics that had candies in their purse. I said, you're allergic to that. What? You got an allergy to that. You can't have that. What? What if my blood sugar goes low? Fix it. Have some steak. Have protein. When you're a diabetic, protein is king. It's the king of the castle. And sugar is the dirty rascal. Okay? So Mexico got it right. They don't want Kellogg's advertising to their kids. Good for them. I wish it would happen in North America. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath. The powers to be, I don't think we'll ever let that happen. There's too much money involved. And there's such bad information. Guys, I'm going to tell you you get rid of sugar. Just get rid of sugar. And watch how much better your gut is. It's astounding. There's nothing that causes acid reflux. There's nothing that gives more digestive issues than sugar, because it feeds the bears. It feeds yeast. It feeds fungus. And you know, I was reading a study yesterday on H. pylori. You know what that is? It's a bacteria that, all of us have some form of H. pylori hanging around, okay? It loves the stomach. It just loves that area, okay? H. pylori, I don't know if you've heard of it or not. But oftentimes what physicians do when you go and get you go to your doctor and I got stomach problems and, they test you for H. pylori, and then if it's positive, they give you an antibiotic, and I shake my head. I understand why they do it, but I shake my head. They're not looking at the real cause. The real cause is a bad diet. H. pylori, yesterday we talked about the herpes virus, the Epstein-Barr, which is herpes virus number 4. That's what it is. We talked about it. And what about herpes? Well, it just stays dormant in your body. You get the chicken pox as a kid, okay? And you develop an immunity, and your body says, okay, herpes virus, go to sleep and don't wake up like a bear. It's going into hibernation. We talked about that. H. pylori, in my opinion, is very similar. It's always around. It's latent, meaning it's sleeping until you feed it. And you wake it up. And then you get big time digestive problems. You're feeding the bears fungus, even a bacteria like H. pylori. The key is not taking an antibiotic because it'll just come back. The key is changing your diet and getting, numero uno, get rid of sugar. How many millions of people have acid reflux? They live on acid blockers. Nobody ever told them that, the reason you have acid reflux is you're not on acid blockers. That's not the reason you have acid reflux. You have acid reflux because you got a bad diet. It's your body screaming, would you get rid of the sugar, please? Hello, you. And, and then you see the commercials on TV. Well, eat anything you want and just take a tum to the tum-tums. No, that's not how it works. It's amazing when you get off sugar, how even for a lot of people, I mean millions of people, if they would do it, if they would get off sugar, they would be shocked at how much better their blood pressure would be. Because again, and we've taught this many a time, that blood pressure, part of metabolic syndrome, is really more insulin than anything else. Don't blame salt for what sugar does. Don't blame salt for what sugar does. And Mexico's got it right. They're looking to the future. Mexico has looked to the future, unlike us. And they see their kids. They've got diabetes already. They're obese. Kids with fatty liver. And you don't get a fatty liver from fat. You get fatty liver. Your little kids and grandchildren get fatty liver from sugar. It's an epidemic today, and I don't use that word lightly, and I mean it. It's an epidemic in North America today. And what happens in the liver will not stay in the liver. It's not Las Vegas. What goes on in that liver is going to destroy their bodies. If they get fatty liver, which is a dangerous, terrible disorder that changes your blood work, like triglycerides and HDL and inflammation. A lot of it is silent. You have no idea. I mean, what kid really is getting blood work done? Very few. And there's not a doctor in the universe that's looking at triglycerides in a child, although they should. It might scare mommy and daddy into some common sense and getting kids away from sugar. Now, what parent doesn't know what sugar does to a kid's brain? Hello? That ought to be a clue. Oh, yeah, you better not have sugar at night there, sonny boy. Because you're going to be bouncing off the walls when I want you to go to sleep. Ask a teacher what sugar does to students. Okay? Yeah, ask a teacher. They know. Guys, but nobody wants to do anything about it, really. I applaud Mexico. I do. Boy, that must have taken a lot of courage by a politician to stop the importation of cereal because they were advertising to the kids. I give them high fives. Courage. You know? What, brain, sugar, mood. Even in depression. Everything gets messed up when you feed headquarters up here. Your brain, headquarters. It's the federal government. It takes 25%, that little wee 2% of your body weight. Headquarters wants 25% of your food. No matter what you eat, it takes 25% off the top to run everything up in there. And when you give it sugar, man, it'll take it. Because if that's what you're giving it, your brain will take it. Your brain becomes stupid on sugar. Because if that's what you insist on feeding it, it'll take it. And I feel sorry for kids. They have no idea. I see kids, you know what the number one breakfast in Canada and the United States? You know what kids have? Number one thing? orange juice. Ooh. But Dr. Martin, it's Tropicana. I don't care. That is sugar. You might as well, why didn't you just give them a Pepsi? What's the difference? I think orange juice has got more sugar in it. Yeah, but it's got fiber in it. It's got the Tropicana. It's, ooh. All I can see is insulin is going crazy. You drink orange juice and your pancreas is working triple overtime to try and get that sugar out of the bloodstream and storing it. You were never, listen to what I'm going to say. You were never meant to drink fruit. God didn't want you to drink it. He wanted you to eat it. So if you're going to have an orange, have an orange. Don't make it into juice. Apple juice. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Your pancreas goes crazy. So we should have a warning on juice. With a big star asterisk at the bottom of the container saying, this will lead to diabetes. People want to lose weight. And of course, I put them on the reset for 30 days. But that's the best way. But even if you don't have any sugar, for most people, not saying everybody, but most people, they'd lose weight immediately if they just cut out sugar. I mean, there's other things like quit eating every 2 hours. Oh yeah, but my blood sugar is dropping. It'll fix itself if you just stick to it. Your body is unbelievably made, It will fix hypoglycemia. I've had millions, when I say millions, I've had a lot. People that argue with me because they say, well, yeah, but when you don't have any sugar, you're going to go into hypoglycemia. So what? Your body will make that adjustment. It will make that adjustment. It's amazing. And that's why some people, even on the reset, like I read, the testimonies, the first few days, I was nauseous. I was this. I said, yeah, but you were a sugar carboholic. And your body says, woo, what are you doing to me? Like, this is major change. And your body loves it, but, it's got to get used to it. The average person, listen, Linda, the average person is consuming in North America. The average person is consuming 200 pounds of sugar a year. 200 pounds, a dump truck load. And they don't even realize it. It's hidden in a lot of ways. They don't read labels. They're looking, I'm looking for, I read a label, I'm looking, because if they want to lose weight, I'm looking for calories. And I used to have a cereal box in the office. And I would teach them from a cereal box, okay? First of all, I showed them the heart on the box, okay? Because it was sponsored by the Canadian Heart Association or the American Heart Association, whatever. I always showed them the heart first. I said, you see the heart there? If you eat this, you're going to have a heart attack, is what I tell them. Okay? You insist on eating cereal, you're going to have a heart attack. What? And then I would teach them, okay? But I would show them, I'd show them the back of the box, and I say, okay, now I want you to read the label with me. And right away, their eyeballs, you know, they were trained. How many calories in there? Who cares? I don't care about calories. Don't care about calories. What has that got to do with anything? I said, look for carbs. Okay, carbs. Yeah, carbs. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of carbs in there. Yep. And then I said, look for sugars. Ooh. Frosted Flakes aren't so great. See why they're not so great? Because in 1 minute, I taught you how to read a label. Lots of carbs. I don't care how much fiber is in there. What's that got to do with anything? I don't care. How many carbs are there? How many sugars are there? Don't look for fat. Don't. It don't mean nothing. Honey? No, but I'm serious. Ooh. Mexico's got it right and we don't. And like I said, don't hold your breath. Cut out sugar. You know, they should have had a 2022. Instead of talking about the pandemic every 5 minutes, they should have talked about this story. Mexico is smarter than we are. You know, I know it's never going to happen, but it's a big story. It really is. I admire the government there actually looking out for advertising to their kids. My word. You know? What do kids eat here? Cereals or Pop-Tarts. Oh, boy. For breakfast. I mean, they're having dessert. Okay. I was having fun there. This was fun for me because I get to rant. Okay. So, Friday, question and answer Friday. Get your questions in there. We love those questions, okay? It's always a fun time, okay? And the private Facebook group, you want to be a member? Join. Get your friends, your family. We're going to give them information like you heard this morning. The news behind the news. Okay? So, you're more than welcome, and we love to have you. Okay? Now, if your friends can't watch this show live, you can always share it with them, okay? You can send it to them, share it with them on Facebook. Or you can get them to download the Doctors In podcast because of all of these teachings are becoming podcasts, okay? In the Doctors In podcast, they can download them. Automatically comes to every new podcast they're going to get. It'll come right to their smartphone. So you can get them to sign up at martinclinic.com, okay? That's enough advertising. I won't advertise anymore. Except that the reset, the book. Books are good, you know, because I love books. I love reading. And I like making notes. Okay? That's the way I learn. I gotta You know, this is my notepad, okay? You see, I'm always writing notes, okay? Not just the way I learned that in school. I majored in recess at in primary school and secondary, okay? Because I couldn't care less about studying. I hated it. But, you know, when you get off into university and that, I learned to study. And the way I learned, and it's been good for me ever since, is I write it out. I'm an old-fashioned, give me a notepad and give me a pen, okay? And a very special pen. I can't stand writing with a bad pen, okay? But that's me. That's how I study. And I've got a notebook, you know? I've got my notebook here. And I have those yellow pads. I'm writing a new book right now. And you should see all the writing and all my notes. And I'll put that together as I work on this. I'll work on this new book that I'm writing right now. This is a notepad I have right here too. That's my spiritual notepad, okay? I write my little devotionals and notes spiritually too. Okay. Now, did I tell you lately that I loved you? I haven't? Okay. Well, I do. I love you. And we'll talk to you soon.